Okay, so this one, it's a topic I've discussed before, as most things are. I just endlessly cycle the same like 4 topics again and again and again. So, a few interesting points happened in our most recent games, and it's the type of character choices that come down to it's what my character would do. And that phrase gets memed a lot, and there's a lot of cases where people will use that to justify complete nonsense. But that is always a very relevant phrase. That phrase, you make a character and they're not you. They wouldn't make the same choices you would. And that's kind of the point, right? So, in 2 of our games, it was in the 40K game and our Night Parade game, some things happened. It was the end of the mission, the spotlight for our 40K game, so we're going to be switching over to Site 27. But right at the end, it was we're in a big ship, we're trying to fly it somewhere, and it got commandeered, and we're trying to avert course. And right at the very, at the last minute, the last hour, some aliens showed up. Alien is a relative term in 40K. Some Xenos, a group called the Harlequins. They can kind of open up portals wherever the fuck they want. It doesn't matter. And they offered us, hey, come with us. We've got someone we want you to meet, and it'll be good. Your story's not over. The whole group took them up on this offer because, we have fucked up. We gotta make this right, and it would be pointless to die here. We still have responsibilities, and we still have a duty. Except Cora, Chief's character, decided that no, he will not be accepting any help from Xenos at all. He'll find his own way. I don't know how he's going to find his own way. The ship's about to blow the fuck up. But the point is, that's just a point of honor or a point of contention, whatever you want to call it. That is a point that character was completely unwilling to compromise on, no matter what. And as a result, they're dead. Probably. There is a lot of interesting stuff that could have gone on with that character, but that's how the cookie crumbles. That's how it goes. And as a result, next spotlight, Chief's going to be rolling a new character. We're getting to the loud section of road for... How long does this section usually last? 30 seconds? 40 seconds? Something? Maybe not even that long? I mean, I can see where the road is actually properly smooth and not this garbage concrete slabs every... Alright, anyway. That was 25 seconds? So... that character's dead. And in the Night Parade game, there was a point the group found an isolated monastery with some monks that claim to, be healers. They go out, they try to help people. They don't take people in, which felt a bit iffy, but if they want to protect, they have to protect their ability to go out and help people. That's kind of the idea. So, it is what it is. We're talking to them. They have a map we're gonna borrow, that kind of stuff. And one of the characters went over to the smithy and started talking to the blacksmith. And that character is a follower of Talos, an evil god of destruction. And blacksmithing is a big part of that god's repertoire and some of their followers' skill sets. So he went over to the smithy, and he was like, "Oh, hey, let me give you a hand." And the the NPC kind of rejected it, which caused a problem because one, Talos is a very proud, petty, spiteful god. So the character emulated that or took into that. And as a result, there was an altercation. The character destroyed that smithy, and we got kicked out of the monastery. And then that caused a bunch of discussion. Each of the other 3 characters that were present at the time, because one of the players couldn't make it, each of the characters went to our cleric of Talos and had different talks with him. And this, and not quote resolve the situation, but discussed it, and we brought out these had some philosophical discussions around it. But this really gets at the point I want to make. Both of these 2 things are examples of it's what the character would do. And there's a line between, all right, this is perfectly what the character would do, but it unbalances and interrupts the story, the narrative, the game. And over here is the choice that would just keep the game moving. But a lot of the time, though, the choice that would keep the game moving is boring. It's not in line with the character. It's unsatisfying. It feels wrong, blah, blah, blah. So you got to do that shitty thing that the character would do. How do you reconcile those 2 things? They're not always, but they are sometimes completely anachronistic. Anachronistic. They are mutually exclusive. You can't do one and the other at the same time. I feel I experience this less because I tend to make characters that will go along with the narrative, that has an easier time. Because my characters usually tend to have a bit more go with the flow kind of attitude. But there have been cases where I've run into this. In Zia's game that they used to run, in the Bound Sword, I was playing Raskris, the Silver Dragonborn fighter. Very goody two-shoes, very lawful good. Basically a paladin. Not quite lawful stupid, but in that game, I was largely the face of the party, the leader, the one who made all the decisions. Because nobody else made the decisions. But there was a point where this character was presented with a weird choice. Coming into a city, they ran into a group of bandits that attacked them, and not inadvertently, but in the course of the fight, they were all the bandits were killed. That was actually the first time that Raskris had ever killed a person also. So he felt weird about that. And we found out one of the members of the bandits, like the 2 leaders, one of them was the rebellious daughter of one of the most powerful merchants in the city, which was problematic. So we brought that person's body to that merchant, and Raskris felt indebted to kind of make up for this in some way. So we did a job for that merchant, which was going to find another criminal element, and the other leader in that bandit group that we killed, we went to find his brother to kind of like take revenge for the merchant. Capture him, bring him back. And everything about this criminal was evil. This guy was evil. In fact, in that sequence, another player kind of rejoined the game, and we found that this criminal underground was keeping people locked up as like magical batteries, and one of the magical batteries was this other player character. So, and it was a player character that my character had a connection to. So that, like, even more reason, fuck this guy. My character had this whole thing with, he had some sealed swords that he was forbidden from using He could use them at any time, but he was forbidden from doing so. And this situation affected him so much, he drew the sword, and it was a big emotional moment that a lot of the players weren't paying attention to. And actually, as soon as he drew the sword, he just rolled straight fire. Like, everything was amazing. I didn't roll a lot of crits, but everything was like, I didn't roll below like a 16. So then we capture this, we beat the shit out of this guy, we bring him back to the merchant, and the merchant rewards us with a bunch of gold. But to kind of tie into like how this character feels, and it's what the character would do, he then vows to never work for this merchant again. Like, and guess what that means? He can't buy anything in the city. He can't use all this gold to buy anything in the city anywhere. So that's problematic. But a lot of the time, it's what your character would do kind of results in consequences. And you have to be careful to kind of not smooth the edges of these choices as the DM and as the player, so that it doesn't completely break the game. But there are consequences to making these types of choices, and often these types of choices are the juiciest, the most narratively interesting. And they sometimes result in you losing a character or you losing a bunch of allies. And while then in game, in the Night Parade, like, we had a bunch of discussion about it, but above table, I don't have a problem with that choice. That choice makes total sense. Maybe don't blow up the guy's smithy. I don't know. You say fuck you and leave, but I don't know. That's not the point. That's a good choice that makes a lot of sense, and it's narratively interesting, and it keeps all the players' attention on the game, because that's something else we were kind of discussing. Like, we felt in that game we were just kind of being pulled along by the plot, and we didn't have a lot of choices. So these types of choices really help. But yeah, I just wanted to discuss those real quick. That's all I got for you.